Director's Log. The organization I belong to, Section 31, is named after the paragraph in Earth's Starfleet Charter that gives this intelligence service its mission. Article 14, Section 31 of the Charter allows us the use of extraordinary measures in times of dire emergency for Earth. You could call us an intelligence service in a broader sense, but in reality we serve an ideal and the whole of humanity, but no one tells us what to do. We aren't directly serving the government of Earth either. Most government officials haven't even an idea that we exist or how much power we can wield if we have to. We are the Fifth Estate. No checks, no balances. For us to fulfill our purpose, it has to be that way. Are we bloodthirsty maniacs? No, not in the least. Incognito vigilantes with itching trigger fingers and a penchant for self-administered justice? Definitely not. We take no joy in killing, and we're not interested in policing our fellow humans. We aren't aggressive, just prepared to do what is necessary. Plato's ideal state had guardians, trained and prepared to fight. That's us. Our utopia is fragile. It needs someone to defend it. I'm not blind to the corrupting influence of power. I've read my history books. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. When I was selected for this position, my predecessor told me, "Your highest duty is the mission. Give up your personal ambitions, they're nothing. Humanity's survival and the survival of our ideals are everything." She recommended keeping a log, because as she put it, the mind is a malleable thing. It can justify anything, adapt to every circumstance. Memories change every time you recall them in your mind. Keeping a log that records the facts will help you to keep yourself accountable, because no one else will. These logs have been a great help and a comfort to me, even though it is foolish for an intelligence agent to keep a diary. The height of foolishness even, regardless of the pains I take to hide them behind ciphers and codenames. I might go mad without the logs though. The worst part of my calling, the part no one and nothing can prepare you for, is that I can confide in no one. I'm surrounded by an invisible barrier that no other person can penetrate. No companionship, no friendship, just the mission. My wife has no idea what I do for a living, and neither have our kids. To them, I'm just an anonymous staff officer in Starfleet headquarters. I am that on the surface, but I'm also waiting for that dire emergency, the time when humanity will have need of us. We're constantly preparing, gathering intel, resources, and operatives. There won't be any time for that when disaster strikes. We need to be ready. We will be ready. Horath Drak, Director of Section 31. End log. Cheers and welcome my friends, I'm Horath Drak and we are going to be playing some Stellaris with the Star Trek New Horizons mod. If you do not know the mod, it's probably, it's definitely the best Star Trek game out there. It's a mod, so it's free if you own Stellaris. It's not very complicated, but it is full of content and rich new mechanics, and in my opinion it is actually the best version of Stellaris that you can play, because it iterates on some concepts that are in the base game, but that can definitely be brought to a different level as what they did here. For example, with resources, with ship design, with the ability to specialize your ships in a certain way, and it has the added factor of being set in the Star Trek universe, which I'm a huge fan of. It had received a big content patch very recently, which is called Birth of a Federation. And what we're going to do is we're going to play the humans, the United Earth. So you can see where your race is going to be: Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta quadrant. So these are colored, and you can also see what kind of empire has a unique ship set. So a bunch of the main ones, the major empires, of course, have their own ship sets. You can play all of these races, so that's really cool. Ferengi have their own ships, Sheliaks have their own ships, and there's just a lot of work and detail in these games. And yeah, we're gonna play the United Earth because those guys have received the bulk of the changes, so new ships, new Federation mechanics, which is another thing that this game there's like a ton more than the base Stellaris, where you only have the Federation fleet and the president changes from time to time. Here you can do tons of different things in the Federation. In terms of settings, we're gonna stay normal on AI aggressiveness, but we're gonna go Grand Admiral just to see how things go. No scaling, so AI will be strong from the beginning. Track tradition cost we keep at 1. And that's basically it, I guess. So let's go Grand Admiral. There are a couple of different galaxies. Like you can take, you can have less stars. You can also play in the Mirror Galaxy, which is definitely, or in the Mirror Universe, where you have the Terran Empire and all the things that kind of the worst. Everyone's evil and has a beard, that kind of thing. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. And I think I'm going to just be playing this until the new update for Stellaris hits, the 2.2 Lig Win patch, with the overhaul to the economy, removing the tile system, all that kind of stuff. So, the specter of war had followed humanity for centuries, culminating in the Third World War in 2053. Emerging from this post-atomic horror, the people of Earth struggled to survive until the scientist Zephyr Cochrane successfully drew the attention of the Vulcan science vessel Plana Hath a decade later. Following almost a century of Vulcan patronage, the people of Earth are ready to take their first steps into the great unknown, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, so when the Earth, in the Sol system, all these planets have received new planetary textures. There is like a mod. The main mod, there's a sub-mod which increases the graphics, and there's also the UI mod that I'm using, which makes this all look like a Federation interface. I think that's really, really cool, having all these menus. It takes a little bit to get used to, but it definitely increases the immersion. There are various of these interfaces for all the main races. There's a Borg interface, there's a Klingon interface, so if you want to increase your immersion even further, then this is the way to go. So we have Earth and we have Mars. We are right smack bang in the middle between Alpha and Beta Quadrant, because that is kind of the logic behind that. Alpha Quadrant, Beta Quadrant, and so on. So that's the logic behind that. We know about the Vulcans. So they have P'Jem and they have Fudi Eridani. And we already... they're going to go for Migration Treaty. They're not there yet for the migration, for the Non-Aggression Pact. We'll have to try to get there and become friends, try to form the Federation. One thing that I want to do is I want to have all my patrons in here as ship commanders, as scientists, all that, as a way of saying thank you for their continued support. So I'm just going to pause real quick, rename all the people in here, and then come back. Alright, so I've renamed everyone. We are being led by President Sam Wyatt. We have the leaders of Jake Hunter, who's going to be our governor. Gotta apply that governor right away. I can tend to forget that. So more science output, really great. Do your job, Jake. I'm counting on you. We are going to put forward Eth100, PGDK, Rubicant, and Diseased Yak as our researchers. Now, you might think, what are these names? I mean, yeah, they're in the names of my patrons, but I think we're just going to roleplay in a way that we think these are the code names that Section 31, like the secret chapter of the Federation, has for these guys. So yeah, they have their normal names, but they've also been codenamed for some reason or another. Maybe they're under surveillance, or maybe they're actually agents of Section 31. I mean, let me know if your character is in here. Are you an agent? Are you a target? How did you become Diseased Yak for Section 31? What happened there? We can see all these because we're like... I mean, we're not Q, but we are somewhat omnipotent. Like, we're above the president. Maybe we even are Section 31 and are trying to manipulate the Federation in one direction or another. I can't recruit admirals right away, but I will do that in the future. So influence is 100. We're not getting a lot of unity here. Let's see how big Earth is here. 23 tiles, that's pretty nice. That's actually pretty nice. This is also going to be like the series where I can say goodbye to the tile system, which will completely revamp in the next update for Stellaris. So we have a bunch of tile blockers on here. We're starting out, which means minerals is the name of the game. We want as many minerals as we can possibly get. We could even shift some people. We have no food whatsoever. What the hell? Well, let's see what our science options are first. So optical computer. Kind of would like that, because that gives us specializations for things. What do the escape pods do? Can be dedicated science ship. for a chance to return some influence in the event of the vessel's destruction. I think we'll do that. We're going to have a lot of science ship stuff. Trading center will give us Latinum, which if you... Like, the Federation apparently isn't using any money according to Star Trek lore, but the Ferengi, for example, are using gold-pressed Latinum to use as a money, because apparently it can't be faked. Silver translucent liquid used as a currency of many worlds. Since it can't be replicated and is extremely rare, it's considered very valuable. Yeah, basically what I said. So yeah, we're gonna go with these stations because we can specialize our ships. So engineering stations will make our ships tankier. This will make them stealthier, more difficult to hit, give them better tracking, and this will just make them do more damage. I think we'll go with this for now. Engineering. Oh yeah, Purgium power plant is nice. We don't have that on any of our planets, so it's not super important. Or do we have Purgium on one of our planets? I don't see any. Nope. Okay, so Purgium research we kind of can ignore for now. I think we'll go with this. Unlock ship type Intrepid Light Cruiser. Additional hull types gives us the light cruisers. Interceptors capable of equipping picket sensors and point defense weapons. It can also equip exotic torpedo types. So ships have been completely overhauled with the birth of a Federation updates. I'm very interested in how this actually works. We have the Starfleet constructor methods, which increases the ship hull points and shield hit points on our ships. Makes them quite a bit more expensive though, 15%. And we also have a higher chance to get out of combat without being destroyed. So these are pretty good. So our guys are very, very tanky. We do a little bit less damage, but I think it's still very good to have Starfleet construction methods. That's one of the things that you can change if you're in the Federation itself. You can change the construction methods to, for example, like you can change the Federation construction methods to, let's say, the Vulcan High Command, the Vulcan construction methods, which have different bonuses depending on what you want. We have piracy risk, that's interesting. Piracy risk is currently at 0%. Having a high piracy risk makes pirates more likely to spawn in our borders. That's interesting, never seen that before. Okay, I mean, whatever. We have the Drive for Self-Improvement Civic, and we have the Spirit of Exploration Civic, so that's pretty cool. We are pacifistic, xenophilic, egalitarians as the United Earth is. You can actually divert from this, and what can happen is you can actually form the Terran Empire in like the normal universe as well if you are following a certain event chain where you get a rebellion on Mars and then you kind of give in to the rebellions. You also have to have some migrant pops on your planet so that your guys can become xenophilic, freaked out by all those aliens. I guess that is a thing. Let's make a migration treaty with the Vulcans, just because we really want them to like us, and we want to start a federation with them if we can. Okay, so that happened. Earth, we have an idle colonist, I guess. Yeah, you. I really want to build another science ship, so I don't think I'm gonna actually spend the minerals there. It is pretty bad though to leave that person doing nothing. I mean, that's a lot of research on that tile. Maybe we'll just leave the person on there. We're doing a ton of society research. And I think we can just let the game run. Actually, no, that's not quite true. We also have some planets where we can get minerals. So maybe that's what we'll do first. Like, this is normally better than committing your minerals to planetary buildings, just because you normally don't have the pops to work those. Now we do, but oh well. Okay, so let's move on. We'll be able to terraform Mars later down the line. It's an unterraformed Mars, so only 50% habitability. We'll try to get to that later down the line. It's not a huge priority.
Me to introduce myself.
Oh yeah.
I am Q. Just Q from the Q continuum. Trust me, I'm all that. Omnipotent, omniscient, handsome. Anyhow, I've deigned your pathetic civilization to be at least somewhat worthy of my advice and guidance. The challenges ahead for you here are different enough from what you've encountered before that you'd be a fool to turn down my offer. As a token of my generosity, I'd like to offer you an, have a nice shiny mineral.
Yeah, I mean, thanks. This is the in-game tutorial. We're gonna leave it on because I'm not familiar with all the new features, so I guess we'll be able to have some help there. I like it. Let's go up in terms of speed. So we have Starbase 1 in Seoul. Currently, we only have a shipyard on there and some crew quarters, which means our fleet is
communications.
Chilling over there. Non-aggression pact for sure. Yes, we have no interest in aggression with the Vulcans. I mean, not least of all because these guys could just blow us out of the water or out of space because they're really, really powerful. Would be kind of nice to get a research agreement with them going. Is that a thing that we can do? Almost. Like, this will build up trust. I mean, the other thing would also build up trust. Yeah, what a sensor link. Okay, that makes them... That's actually interesting for them. Communications, we don't have anyone that you don't know. Minerals. Ooh. Okay, I mean... Sure. Let's do that. 30 years of research agreement with the Vulcans. Okay, so that should improve our trust. Let's hope that that is a thing. So trust growth, 0.85 each month. Non-aggression pact helps, migration access helps, research agreement helps. It's the least important of them, but let's have it nonetheless. Our science ship is gonna move out into the unknown. Sol system already starts research since 2.0, so that's good. Oh yeah, it's just your acceptance. Okay then. So we should find Alpha Centauri somewhere up here, north. The galaxy is semi-randomized every time you start it, but like the basic positions of people and all that is kind of the same. So that's gonna be rather familiar if you're playing this mod a lot. I guess we can go up to fastest. Not too much is happening. We're just researching a bunch of things, trying to get things started. Stellaris always starts out a little bit slow because it is like a symmetrical start. Okay, so the game tells us about the dilithium crystals. Ah, yes, dilithium, truly wonderful crystals. You can accumulate them in two different ways. Either build a dilithium mine on planetary tiles that have a dilithium deposit on them, or build a mining station around a dilithium deposit on some forsaken asteroid. Both methods will produce raw dilithium, which then needs to be processed in a dedicated refinery facility that will get you processed dilithium. Better refineries will be able to produce more processed dilithium per raw dilithium deposit. You can even build a small synthetic refinery on your star bases for a small kick of processed dilithium. Gather more processed dilithium to get a passive bonus to your Empire naval capacity. Note that this modifier updates only once a year, so give it time. Okay, understood. Thanks, man. So dilithium is the thing that people in the Star Trek universe are using for their drives. So dilithium, very, very important. Okay, we have the habitable event chain. We know without a doubt that a thriving biosphere is not something unique to Earth. Both the scientific community and the public at large are eager to learn more about the various forms of alien life found throughout the galaxy. Let's have a look at that. Alien life sounds good. Sounds good. Very commendable. Very commendable. And let's go ahead and let's actually make that happen. Let's build this on here. There's no need to switch these around until we actually finish building this. Ooh, and we have the NX project. The United Earth's ambitious plan to create a Warp 5 vessel is still struggling. The original vision of Sephram Cochrane, which began in 2119 with the foundation of the new faster-than-light research complex in Bozeman, Montana, is now several decades old, and yet most of humanity's ships still crawl between the stars at Warp 2. Admiral Maxwell Forrest stares with distaste at the Vulcan ambassador Saval. Earlier today, he was elated with the news of the successful launch of the earliest prototype of the NX project. Now, it seems his day was becoming worse. With all due respect, Ambassador, Earth has a fleet now. Our Warp 4 engine was recently installed on the USS Franklin, and the Admiral began before being cut off. It was less than a decade ago when your Commander Robinson almost lost his life because of this reckless pursuit, Admiral. We simply advise caution, Saval intoned. We still feel the NX project should be suspended. Not forever, just a few more years. I will pass his suggestions to Prime Minister Sam Wyatt. Proceed with the NX project. Yeah, we're just gonna ignore the Vulcans. I mean, let Vulcans be Vulcans. But we're gonna do our own thing. They're very good sort of people, and they're nice, but sometimes they have some problems, which is why the Federation comes to be. These guys really hate the Andorians, other way around, or at least they can't really deal with the Andorians.
Construction.
And Earth is really being like the middleman there, helping to bring about that understanding and like reducing the likelihood of conflict between those two peoples. Okay, let's hope that mining network comes online soon. Once that happens.
Initiating communications.
Okay, research is complete. We got the science stations, police station. We don't really need that, but we definitely need the colony ship. Like, let's get that going for sure. Defensive pact invitation, sure. Yes, Vulcan High Command. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Very good. Very good, guys. So we're actually gonna.
Construction complete.
Ooh, Alpha Centauri is right next to us. That's awfully nice. I like that. There are a ton of habitable planets in here. So we have, actually we can see that from out here. So we have an alpine, an arctic, and an adaptable planet. That is bad luck. Sometimes you find a continental planet on there, but I guess we're screwed in this run. We can still terraform them or something, and if we have more people living in the Federation, that way you can settle tons and tons of planets just because you have a very diverse population that can basically live with every type of planet. So these are our frigates currently. Just challengers. Yeah, this is fine. Do we want to upgrade them? I don't think it's really worth it to invest those minerals right now. I mean, we might get... What are our designs right now? Let's have a look. Let's check this. So... we have the Emmet class. We're using some light pulse cannons and some light nuclear torpedoes. We have a nuclear reactor on these, which is definitely not necessary because we already have like a surplus of power on them. Titanium hull. Okay, so there should be a description here that actually tells you what these ship types do. I guess the description is still work in progress, so let's hope that that comes soon. We kind of know what these do, though. They're just small corvettes. I'm gonna go auto upgrade. Auto design takes control over upgrading and changing the ships. Yeah, we're gonna stop with the auto generated designs. So yeah,
a good ship design is like a work of art, subtle, nuanced, and with eyes that follow you across the room. It's important to know what you're doing, and that's why I'm here. One of the most important things to consider is how you assign utilities. There are 3 types: tactical in red, engineering in gold, and support in blue. Each utility offers different benefits and optimizations for you to exploit. Tactical slots typically grant a variety of bonuses to weapons damage, range, and performance. Engineering utilities offer additional defensive capabilities. Support slots generally offer bonuses to speed, evasion, or accuracy. You can place additional backup reactors in all 3 utility slots for additional power. Beyond these are the auxiliary slots, which provide a variety of out-of-combat bonuses.
Okay, understood. That is one of the best things about the Star Trek New Horizons mod. Not only are, like, the one thing is that ships are, like, a single ship is much more important. They're way more expensive
Construction complete.
than in the base game, but you can also customize them a lot more, which is nice, because, and you can, like, focus down the research that will make your ships better. And that way create really, really nice fleets. Whereas in Stellaris, you're kind of stuck with, like, the same design for all your ships most of the time. So while starting Alpha Centauri A3, sensors have been detected. Sensors have been detected what appears to be an ancient capsule of familiar design in orbit. How it found itself in orbit is a mystery. Yeah, definitely. Research the thing. Our construction ship is idle. That's not ideal. I kind of would like to exploit some other stuff. Like we have with the moon. Apparently there's some minerals on the moon, so let's make that happen. I wonder what's on there. We can switch you around, get more minerals. So we're up to 25 now. I really want to push up to 100 as fast as possible, really. So we're gonna upgrade our ships here.
Upgraded.
Sol finished its queue. The NX project. Yeah, that kind of requires us to have 500 minerals. We don't have that right now. We could wait. It's been a long road. Oh, that's like the intro song of the Enterprise series with Captain Archer. 2 years after the successful test flight of the NX, Zeta Earth is celebrating laying the keel for the very first Warp 5 vessel, Starfleet's first true flagship, the NX Light Cruiser class Enterprise. While technology has progressed at a breakneck speed, realizing the dreams of scientists such as Archer, that's the father of Captain Archer, Tazaki and Cochrane, the Vulcans continue to warn humanity that it's not ready. for the perils that faces them in deep space. Their political pressure can be felt throughout the industrial sector on Earth. The project's resources are quickly dwindling, and many employees of the Warp 5 complex have been reassigned to different projects. While the Enterprise hull floats proudly in space dock, in truth, it is but an empty shell. Analysts and military strategists are forced to admit they cannot estimate when this ambitious project will be completed. The success of the project is vital. The Enterprise is more than a testbed for the latest experimental propulsion and weapons technologies, but a symbol of the hopes and dreams of humanity. Yeah, I really would like to push this forward, but it is difficult. We can just leave it open. Maybe we can scrounge together the minerals that we need. Okay, so we're done with that. Command station gives us hull regen on those yellow slots. Those are like special slots. Physics lab. This will give us better energy stations, which will be necessary soon-ish once we push further. Now we have that construction ship. Stop that, buddy. We're almost up to... maybe we can trade with these dudes. Hello, Vulcans. Like, you know how you said we shouldn't do a thing? I would very much like to do the thing. Could you maybe assist us in doing the thing? I'm just saying, like, very little minerals will do. Oh, you're not... Okay, I mean, sure. A man can dream, I guess. Okay, never mind. Just ignore me. Ignore humanity. You know better, I guess. It's not a problem. No, really. No, I mean it. It's definitely not some passive aggressiveness in there. You do you, guys. You do you. On further investigation, the capsule's orbit is rapidly decaying, drawing it closer and closer to Alpha Centauri A3. If the USS Franklin does not adjust the capsule's orbit with its grappler, it will certainly be destroyed. I mean, we gotta investigate here, right? Who's doing that? Ath-100. Codename Ath-100. Gonna prepare the grappler. Grappler away. The USS Franklin's chief engineer successfully modified the capsule's orbit with the grappler. The captain leads an away team beamed aboard. Confirming the capsule to be of human origin, she discovers a number of ancient cryptogenic hibernation chambers. Several appear to be occupied. So we found frozen humans. That is amazing. Further investigation reveals that the capsule occupants were all declared dead hundreds of years prior, though the USS Franklin's doctor believes they can be revived and cured with modern medical techniques. Man, that is going to be an incredible culture shock. I remember the Next Generation episode where they find something like that. Let's awaken them. Ancient capsule. After the cryogenic chambers were brought back to the USS Franklin and the capsule occupants thawed out, they appear confused and on edge. Several days pass and the strange behavior continues. It is only after a crew member is discovered murdered that the ship's archives reveal the capsule occupants to be violent criminals dispatched into space as an alternative to capital punishment. They are quickly rounded up and placed in the brig until they return to Earth. Damn it! We lose 20 influence. I mean, it's a nice story in theory, but who would spend the enormous amount of resources to, like, send out a spaceship to Alpha Centauri with humans and then just use murderers and criminals? Doesn't make a ton of sense, I don't think. Is there any way that any place that I can cannibalize to get some minerals? Like, guys, have your thoughts changed on... No, okay. Monthly? I mean, one mineral, really? I mean, actually, we could try to do this. Let's see, like, if we give them... Oh, they're not gonna go for, like, a permanent thing. For an instant one.
Technology
I think that got patched out at some point. I forgot. Hey, light cruisers. So we have the Intrepid light cruiser hull now. We can research the NX class right away. This is a long-range explorer. Light medium cruisers that have improved thrusters and computers, tractor beams, and extra science utility slots. That's nice. We could also improve our torpedoes. I kind of want to go photon torpedoes instead of the spatial ones. But we might have to research that to unlock the other thing. Let's do that. Like, new ship classes are always good. Let's have a look at the ship design. New design. Let's see what the Intrepids can do and how they look. So, we can already specialize these. Heavy weapons, torpedo barrage, light cruiser. Yeah, we could do that. That gives us... Oh, we have nothing to put in these... No. Okay, that's not true. We can actually put the pulse cannons in there. So let's see. Can put some nuclear torpedoes in there. So that's 14.44 damage. If we go heavy weapon emplacement, that gives us like this heavy area. Okay, that's a lot more. That's a lot more damage. I think it's mainly down to what kind of range we want to engage at. These are super short range ones, the turrets. The speed on these guys, not amazing. Combat speed. Oh yeah, we don't have a section where we can actually see the combat speed. So we can decide at what range they should engage. And since we have a bunch of like more long range stuff, this is a range 40 and this is a range 50. I will actually go a little bit higher. Picket. No, I don't want picket. Stationary. We said medium weapon range. Circle the enemy. We'll go with that. Just try to keep them away a little bit. They have weapons damage plus 5%. That's also nice then if we have the heavy weapon emplacements. I think we want to build some of these actually, some Intrepids. No other components that are better are currently available. So yeah, we're gonna just call these Intrepids actually. We can change these. So what we can do is weapons damage, armor hit points, or penetration. I think we'll just go with that one. Here we have the option of the science station or higher tracking. I think boosting the evasion over here is probably a good idea. And then we can add additional bulkheads, just increasing the armor. We still have no shield, so doing that is probably a good idea. How much does that cost? 500 minerals. Okay, so that costs us as much as pushing forward the Enterprise over here, which we probably don't want to do. We might, but we might not. Come on, just give me those 500 minerals. I know this is a little bit weird, but I want the Enterprise. I want the NX project finished. That would be nice. We can also upgrade these ships, but that's not going to happen. This will kind of also move forward the story of the game. And should also allow us to move forward, form the Federation. That can actually be like beneficial. There are some factors that would encourage you to postpone the forming of the Federation, just because the AIs will then colonize a little bit further. You don't have to do everything yourself. And compared to the MP, where I tried to form the Federation as fast as possible so that I couldn't be disrupted, that might actually be the course that we take here. Maybe. 449. I think we just need another tick and then we can build the Enterprise. No, it's 2 ticks. God damn it. I wonder if I could actually
Technology discovered.
coax another thing out of Q. Yay! Let's do it.
Log updated.
Special project, a new Enterprise. So that's in the situation log. We're just going to research that. The NX class Enterprise is the first of hopefully many Warp 5 vessels. Construction has taken longer than anticipated due to the nature of the advanced technologies involved. However, it is believed that the project is very near completion. Let's do this. 1 year, we'll get the Enterprise, which is all that we really want. We can also build colony ships now. Perfect. Now, this allows us to build the Interstellar Academy, which is awfully nice because it gives you 111 in terms of research. The mod follows some different rules than the base game in that it doesn't really allow you to build labs on tiles where there is no science deposit. But you can still build the Interstellar Academy on any tile that you so choose, which means that these food tiles, of which we won't need all of them, actually become a lot more valuable if we can plunk the Interstellar Academies on there. They can also be upgraded later down the line and specialized for one of the research areas, so that's actually a really good tech to have. We're gonna jump on that right away. Is there anything else that we want to do on Sol? I mean, we could remove these tile blockers, honestly. The other thing that we could do is probably increase the food stockpiling. So we're gonna go up to balanced here, because sometimes I run into food problems. Especially if I get like new members of the Federation integrated. Sometimes the AI is not all that great in terms of what they should build and what they shouldn't. And therefore I'm trying to build up a food stockpile, because sometimes they don't have any farms and suddenly you're deeply in the negative. That can definitely happen. Okay, I think I'm going to end it here. We have the Enterprise coming up next time. Hope you enjoyed this, and I hope I see you in the next episode. Bye bye.